Hey everybody, welcome back. A quick update on my job. It's unfortunately not going to be full time. They want to extend the contract, which is disappointing because that was not the next step. So I'm going to walk you through what happened on the rest of the videos and give you some context and my goals going forward. So to give you some context, I work as a demand generation manager as a contractor for a startup, and the contract was for 2 months, and this week on Friday is going to be my last day. And the whole point of the 2 month contract, which I spoke with the company before, was that this is going to be a 2 month trial to see if I was a good fit, and then we're going to move on to a full-time role. However, that's just not the case anymore. They want to extend the contract versus hire me full-time. And they want to do something called a top grading process, and they want to just keep pushing it down the line, I guess. And honestly, this is very disappointing to me because I was hoping to join the team full time. And I have a ton of responsibilities now. I have a ton of roles, a lot of different projects that I'm a part of. So I was really kind of surprised that they were still going to extend the contract versus hire me full time. And so honestly, the takeaway from here is that you just never know what's going to happen with the contract and if it's going to be full time or not. Now, when my boss told me that, my immediate reaction was really unfortunate. I was disappointed, and I did not show that through the meeting. I just tell them, okay, let me give you my answer by Wednesday or something, okay? Because I don't have a final answer if I want to keep continuing the contract role versus just stopping in general or trying to fight for a full time. Because honestly, I was like, oh crap, they wanted to extend the contract, and I was not prepared for that, which I should have been. I guess I knew that was one of the options, but it was actually funny because during that meeting, I didn't expect to talk about that because we had to talk about something else. But then he just brought it up. After the meeting, when he told me about wanting to extend the contract, obviously he just made me frustrated because like, wait a minute, the whole point of the 2 month contract to begin with was to be hired full time. And unfortunately, it is what it is. So now it's been a day since then, and I've just been doing a lot of research. I've been talking to my friends. I've been doing a lot of AI research on what's the best next step. How do I negotiate? Should I continue the job? Should I extend it? Should I try to negotiate for full time, etc.? And I think in the meantime, I'm just going to extend the contract. And because like I said, it's a good company. The people there are great. It just, maybe because it's a startup, that's why I'm giving it a bit of grace. But it's still unfortunate because as I mentioned before, we talked about moving to full-time, not to extend the contract. So on that day when I was told about that, it did ruin my mood because, if you get hired full-time, that's a committed job, that's a safe job, it's stable in a way, and I don't have to worry about contract role and what's gonna happen at the end of it, right? So I was just looking forward to that stability. And I tried to negotiate for a very high salary as well. So maybe that could have been played into the factor as well where they want to extend the contract. But then the next day, it's a whole new day. I was in a good mood. I still continue my work as always. There's tons of new responsibilities that I am working on and projects I'm a part of. So I still continue to do that and work my best. And the reason is because that's just who I am. Just because I didn't get what I want, I'm not going to just purposely do a bad job. No, that's not the way I operate. I continue to do good work. It's going to show in my work. It's going to show in my projects, or I could use it as my future reference if I do apply for another job. So I'm still going to continue to work hard basically, right? And plus, I'm learning a lot of new things, and I'm refining my skills in demand generation and being a market operator as well. So I'm still continuing to work hard. So as I mentioned before, my plan is to try to renegotiate. So if we're going to extend the contract, I want to increase the compensation that I'm getting because my role has drastically increased than originally. And on top of that, in the last 2 months, I brought in more results than expected. So to me, that just makes sense that I would try to negotiate for a higher compensation. And remember, contractor work don't get any benefits, they don't get any PTOs. So I'm going to put that in the reasoning as well. Luckily, I have friends that are contractors, and so they could give me a lot of tips, which I have definitely been using. And I will just keep doing that. So now I have already created a new scope of work that details all the new responsibilities and the current responsibilities that I have been doing. I also will link in the past results that I have brought for the company in the past 2 months. And then I will send an email. And I was thinking about, should I just send it like a chat message? Because we have our own chat stuff. But then I think email is much more professional. And then I'm just going to mention in there, here's my new scope of work. Here's my compensation proposal. Here's the 2 past months that I brought results in. And if you would like to speak online or on the meeting instead of the email, I'm willing to do that as well. All right, so just give a lot of flexibility, give a lot of options, and also negotiate for my higher compensation, right? Because I don't want to be complacent or just get paid the same when I'm doing more work. Now, one downside that could happen is potentially I lose the contract. And so, am I willing to take that risk if I'm trying to negotiate a higher price? Or what if they just change it all of a sudden? Which I don't think they will, because as I mentioned, I'm doing a lot of different things at the company. I'm prepared. I'm ready. Like, if something happens where I don't get the contract role, I save my money, we're good financially, I would just look for a new job and bounce back quicker, because I was able to bounce back within a month. And I really want to start a consulting firm too, so I might just look into that as well. Because honestly, the job is using tools that I have used in the past for my past consulting firm. So it kind of renewed my motivation or ambitions to do that again and start a consulting firm again. So that could be a path that I'm taking as well, or I could look for another full-time job and go down that route again. But this time, I think I'm just much more ambitious and ready. Because I mentioned in another video where after I got laid off from my other job, I felt like I was just drifting for a whole month, just playing games, just watching TV shows. But now I think that I'm just much more motivated now. And I actually donated a lot of my technologies. I don't have video games in my house anymore. I've just been constantly learning new things, just educating myself. I bought courses on communication and vibe coding and other stuff. So I'm just continuing to learn, and I'm enjoying the process, which is cool. I'm really focused more on enjoying the journey and the progress versus just focusing on the end result, right? Because that end result could get in the way, especially if you do not reach it. And even if I do achieve that end result, I'm going to make a higher mountain to climb to pursue. As a result, that would give me more money, that would give me more benefits, that would just be overall good, obviously. So in closing, unfortunate, I did not get an offer to become full-time, but they are extending it. And so as a result, I'm going to try to renegotiate for a higher compensation and get it in writing and make it clear. It's like, hey, after this next 2 months, after the extension, what exactly do y'all want for me to do? Or what is needed for me to really be full-time and not have the contract extend again, right? Because if that happens again, then I think something's going on and I need to really be careful or just be more cautious if I want to keep pursuing it and going forward. So it's not over yet. I'm still hopeful. I'm still going to keep doing what I need to do and really put in my best work regardless of what happens. I think it's just overall a good thing to do. And I will keep you updated. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.